today's Witch Word of the Day is seraph, our plural seraphim. It's an angelic being regarded in traditional Christian angelology as belonging to the highest order of the ninefold celestial hierarchy. And it's associated with light, ardor, and purity. And just a fun little fact for those kind of like me who are kind of like, maybe not conspiracy theorists, but alternate thinkers. The Bible never said that the seraphim have wings, so some people believe that the angels who came to Earth were aliens. Yay, aliens!
Triumph for ye seraphim!
It's always aliens!
It's always aliens.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series. All right, well, hello. This is episode 60 of Words of the Witches. We're at 60 already.
60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
I'm Sean. I just love comic books.
And guess who's back? But Cat's a card. Cat's a card.
Hey, Cat's a card.
It's me, Cat's a card. I am just a Charmed fan and an author and just an all-around witchy type person.
Yeah. And listeners, spellworders may remember you from when we were covering the novels. Can you remind them what novels you appear with me on?
I didn't know there would be a quiz. I'm pretty sure I was on. Was I on Garden of Evil? Or no, I wasn't on that.
No,
you are. Phoebe Who. I was on Phoebe Who.
You did do Phoebe Who, yes.
I love me some Phoebe. And I was on, what was the other one?
Dark Vengeance, the one with the gremlin and the evil blonde K's.
The gremlins that were
That was
blue.
a good one.
It was a good one. It's my favorite book still. After all the books we read, it was my favorite one.
That makes me feel really proud, even though it had nothing to do with me. I'd like to think it has a little bit to do with me.
Well, he invited you onto that one for a reason.
Well, that's true.
And you're actually our first guest coming from the comics that came from the novels. Well, besides Sean, because Sean was on Shadow of the Sphinx. So Sean's actually the first. But you're yeah.
Well, I'm
bringing
honored.
people back.
Thank you for having me.
You're
it's
welcome.
fun. I like the new format. I love the banter.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we are covering today Season 9, Issue 12, The Charmed Offensive. This is the final issue in Volume 2. So it's the last of this particular story arc before we move into another story arc. Yeah, it was published July 27th, 2011. Written by Paul Ruditis. Artwork by Dean Kotz. Letters by Jim Campbell, edited by Ralph Tedesco, Raven Gregory, and Paul Ruditis. And this issue has 3 different covers.
Wow.
So the first one is our ever wonderful David Seidman cover. Page on the front. This looks like they took a season 6 promo picture and just like put a new body on her.
She looks younger. I feel like she looks
Yeah, it looks like she's almost wearing her superhero colors. So, and then we have Phoebe on the side with the red ball, Piper on the other side with the blue ball. And then we have Neena's heel legs before them. And up there,
I like the heel legs.
Yeah, heel, leggards, all the things.
Like she's straddling the image, but I didn't notice the legs until I pulled out the original, and then I was like, ooh, that just made that image like even more awesome and intimidating. Although Piper doesn't look super like Piper.
A little fakey.
But like just the bottom chin is not quite right, but like maybe the top is more her, but I don't know. But I'm impressed with Phoebe. I feel like Phoebe looks pretty good. I mean, she doesn't look totally like her, but she looks better than a lot of the others.
At least her neck looks natural. You know?
At least you can tell it's her, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
She's Phoebe has a little bit of the Wendigo going on in this.
She does. Screw you, bitch.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Whereas
cover
Paige definitely looks uncertain in the.
Yeah, but she's got a sword. It
And
may
some
not be
music.
Excalibur like Sean thought, but it is a sword.
Yeah.
Cover B is continuing our little kind of what's like the Phoebe one last week. Our kind of themed
Our triptych.
our triptych. Yeah. So we got Paige with some season 8 promo pictures. It's very much like those old 80s, like you take a portrait and you have like the big you and then the little you and they're in the same picture.
Totally. Yeah, it's like the 80s like senior prom photo or
Yeah, yeah.
your senior photos. Totally. And she's trying to do a sexy pout lip, which is so
Oh, yes. And the greenish, bluish, swirly dust stars and stuff background. And then cover C was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which just uses the Witches in Tights promo picture of all of them as their superheroes with San Diego Comic-Con wallpaper backgroundy things in there.
I like it. I want it.
It's not I got this from Box of Shadows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was I just one of I think the first one because I was one of the first people.
I didn't get.
Well, it wasn't in all of them either. You had to be like one of the first people to order to get it. So because I was on it.
Well earned.
Thank you. All right, so that's that. Silence. Yes. Hear now the words of the witches.
Cool. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Right. So back in the manor for the first time in this comic, we see everybody is preparing for the big battle. We see Sam is like, your white lighter delivery service is prepped and ready. And Piper's like, nope, you're staying here because you've died enough times already. You don't need to die again. And then we see Phoebe and Coop has this big, elaborate, sexy bow. He's like, I'm Coop, I have a big, sexy bow. And Phoebe's like, that thing is ridiculous. He's like, yeah, I had to kind of like search for it, but I think I want to use it. It's going to weaken the demons. And then we see Henry with Paige, who's still out cold. And he's like reassuring her, everything's going to be okay, baby. And then we see in the up there's region, all of the Warren witches are also getting ready. We have Paige saying, are you sure there's enough power without every single one of the Warren witches? And Graham says, it'll have to be enough. This is what we have. And then we see Patty saying, combined with the elders, it should be more than enough. We are as ready as we're ever going to be, ladies.
Yeah. Did you ever think Coop would have like a bow and arrow?
I mean, I love the Cupid motif.
Yeah, it fits the motif, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him in diapers now with the bow and arrow.
Maybe a little Fountain of Youth fiasco.
Yeah.
That would be rough. All right, so they don't have all the Warren witches, but now the next page is like crazy up there battle happening where the beautiful up there is like dark and red and billowy smoke and lots of demons everywhere. It's very scary. Fire.
Very scary.
Not what you expect up there to look like, but it's kind of got this purpley hue going on. There's a big ball of energy happening in the middle with Neena. Looks like she's kind of in control of it with her cape billowing. And then we've got, is this Leo tied to the pillar?
It is.
Poor Leo, he's chained up there. He looks really ticked off. And this is Rennick, right? With his dark lighter. He's all smirky as usual. And we got Leo here just being like, Rennick, you really should have stayed retired. And Rennick's like, ha ha ha, I'm not going to miss all this fun. And Leo's like, your mistake. And I like that Leo's all ballsy and bravado because he's a human at this point. He has no power.
Yeah, right.
He's like completely at the mercy of all these, they look like they pulled a few orcs out of the Middle Earth or something to play along. But there's a lot of demons happening here. So some orbs happen, and oh my goodness, Paige and Phoebe orb in, and Phoebe is like, Paige wasn't kidding. Things have really changed. And
it's Phoebe and Piper with Sam. So Sam is orbiting.
Really gnarly. I'm sorry.
she got beat. She got beat up
She
face.
already had her nose bashed in. But, Piper got punched in the face a little bit. She's maybe feeling a little Wendigo action happening, but she doesn't think this is what Paige was talking about. Sorry, guys. Now they're looking and they're like, maybe we should regroup. And Phoebe's like, there's no time. There's this big orb thing. It's about to burst. We don't know what kind of demon babies are coming out of that thing. And we got to do something. And then they're like, okay. And now here Piper looks a little better. And Phoebe is like, maybe she's like, we'll just have to wait for the signal. Piper's like, we'll wait for the signal. And Phoebe's like, maybe someone should have told Leo. And I'm sorry. I have a really hard time distinguishing the girls in the comics.
No, I feel you. Yeah.
And I like it when they have really distinct outfits because that definitely helps. But meanwhile, the girls are deciding what to do, and Phoebe's like, oh no, somebody should have told Leo that there was a signal to wait for. And Leo becomes the signal.
Yeah, so the next page. This is so badass to me, though. I love it.
I love it. I love this one. It's so good.
So Leo, in his chains, just like hoists his legs up and then kicks Rennick down. He's like, thump, and Rennick is just like knocked out. I love it. And he grabs one of his arrows from his crossbow. He's like, Chuck went up to the powerless mortal. I was like, I'm so cool. And he grabs the arrow and he unlocks his little armband chains and clicks it off. Ooh, sexy. And the flames behind him. It's burning up there.
Leo's such a badass in this panel. He just takes control.
It's great.
Yeah. He's been kind of a badass in this whole run too, though. Like he's getting it.
Yeah, he's leading up to his like, I'm taking charge, guys. This is my family.
All right. Next up, we see Leo standing over Rennick. He's chained Leo up, and he has silly Rennick. Don't you know that these Darklighter arrows are strong against Whitelighter magic? This was like super easy or whatever, yo. So he makes sure to exposition for us and says, and yet the arrows still work against evil. Just in case there's any question, the arrows do work against evil. So now that we're on the same page, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Evil? Yeah, I'm just gonna tell people because like they're not poisoned like they would be a Whitelighter, but they still are an arrow. They still pierce flesh. That part is not gone. So,
and since he's a human, he can pick up the crossbow. Whereas if you were a Whitelighter, he wouldn't even want to touch that thing.
Right. So,
right when I read that, I was like, I wonder if Kevin's going to have a strong opinion on this one. And you didn't. You were just like, it makes sense. The arrows are sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. And I mean, demons kill each other with their fireballs all the time.
Right.
So why wouldn't the Darklighters' arrows still work?
Yeah. So Leo thinks to himself, Leo, you really could have come up with a better plan. As he's like taking out these demons, he's taking out like 3 at once with these arrows. He's badassery level is an 11 right now for Leo.
Yeah.
And he's criticizing himself.
Yeah.
I should have thought this through.
So then he tries to get into the large golden doors, but they won't open. So he goes, this isn't good. And then he's like, come on, baby, open for me. Open as easy as Piper does for me.
And then freezes me, so I miss half of it.
Yeah,
that's true. That's the spot.
Anyway, yeah, poor Leo can't get into his old hangout. So the next panel is back up in the underworld, back up in the underworld, back up in the upper there, where it's all.
It's the upstairs. It's the underworld. It's all of it.
So we also have a very poorly drawn Piper here, looking very, very gremlin-y herself.
Oh wow!
I think her head's too big for her body a little bit. You know.
Yeah. She's got some massive unibrow, and she's frowning. Like, it kind of looks like they put like one of those Easter egg heads. Or
yeah, Humpty Dumpty set on a wall.
I'm sorry, I'm a jerk. This artist worked really hard on this.
I know.
A lot of time, and I'm sure it's really well done. But
I always have to remind myself that they had really tight time restraints.
Time limits, yeah.
So,
and I'm sure that the detail, it's just like the poor guy, or I don't know if it's a guy or girl or
it's a guy. I think it's Dean Katz is what I read before. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dean. I'm sure your original looks better, and it's just the ink bled weird, and it's not your fault. I'm sure it's all in the printing. So anyway, so they're up there, and there's some guys in robes with some knives in their belts, and the girls are sneaking up on them, and she's like, "Looks like that's our cue," because Leo just decided to take out half the people holding him hostage, and so she's like, "What does she say?" But we don't know if everyone's in place. Oh, yeah. They're not sure if everyone's set up, but they're like, we don't have time to wait. And foom, Piper blasts the guy in the robe, and they start attacking. And then Neena, she sees them finally. And she's like, oh, no, it's too soon. Stop them. Because she still has her purple orb thing that she's working on her, I don't know, magic alien babies or something. So meanwhile, and let's just face it, these demons that are sneaking up on Leo, who's trying to creep in the door, who I guess managed to get it open somehow. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, guess there is some white letter left in me. And he was all happy. The door creeps open. And there's all these like demons that are like blue and red, and they have horns and face jewelry, and things are happening. And he sees them, and he's like, oh, no, and slams it really quick right in their face. So that was a close one for Leo.
Yeah.
He snuck in just in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I don't know about you, but that whole, I guess there is some white lighter left in me, bothered me.
I knew it. I was going to call it.
I was like, he should be mortal. Stop trying to. I mean, and because in earlier issues, I don't know if you listened to those episodes yet, Kat, but they say like, maybe Melinda can orb because you have some white letter DNA lingering in you. I'm like,
yeah, that's annoying.
It's a stretch.
I hate when they rewrite stuff. I have to admit, like, I really like the comics and stuff, but I do hate that they like kill off innocents that they already saved in the show. Like, that bothers me because I hate when they go back and then like rewrite the story that we already like. And that poor girl with the angel tattoo, she had it hard enough. She already got super old and then was like homeless, didn't know who she was, and then got young again, and it was like a miracle. And then to have to get all old again and die just a couple years later, not fair.
I know. It's a very sad life for our dear Brittany.
Yeah, poor Brittany. I mean, I guess.
We never really like explored that more, did we? That was just to get the Charmed One's attention? Or was there more to that?
Well, yeah, what they're doing is they were take the blood from mortals.
And they had to be their innocence for
and they had to be innocence for the spell to resurrect the source. It was all part of the resurrecting the source.
Right.
Yeah, which I guess kind of makes sense. So maybe I'll give them a pass. But it is a shame when, they kill off people they already saved. You're like, they already saved them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
But yeah. So, Sean, do you agree with me on that white letter thing?
I do. It is a little bothersome to me. Like, at this point, he's definitely out of his white lighter sperm. So there's nothing like holding him to being a white lighter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had any other explanation. Maybe just because of all the good he's done in his life, that they could be a goodness factor.
That recognized him because it's a little bit magic. They're like, oh, we see you as an innocent, and there's bad guys on your tail.
Yeah, and there's history there. They can maybe see your history, but it doesn't mean you have white lighter left in you. It's just
you could just
a past.
You know what I would have liked if another elder like ran in there being a wimp to hide, and Leo was like, "Oh, I'm following you in."
See, that's smart. See, why weren't you writing this comic book?
I tried. They didn't hire me.
Next page, we see Paige and Kyle and Patty and Penny and the elders and the ancestors all behind the gate, and they're like, "Okay, here's our plan. Remember, we don't have much time. They only can stay open for a little bit of time before you're trapped out of the afterlife forever, and you have to just do your thing and come back."
Okay, so what's happening? Where's this gate, and where's Leo's door?
Right, so you're a little lost because you haven't seen the previous issues. Right now, Paige has essentially kind of died, and she is in the afterlife with Kyle, with all of her ancestors in the afterlife, and this gate is the afterlife gate, so they're on the other side.
I do like that we see Kyle again, but he's a white lighter, so it makes sense.
Yes, he's an elder now.
Ugh. Come
I know.
on.
I know.
White privilege.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
An elder already. Kyle has definite moral ambiguity to him. It's like, I mean, for all that Leo did before he finally became a Leo, like an elder, like, I'm sorry, Kyle. I want to see your resume.
Yeah, well, when you listen to the episode of the podcast, you'll understand why I think it's appropriate.
Okay. Well, sorry. I'm
but-
arguing with the
No, it's appropriate because it's
research.
a dick move because I think the elders are dicks. They recognize Kyle as a fellow dick, and so they made him an elder.
That makes
Dick knows dick.
You won me over. Yeah, Dick knows.
It was a political play. It was all about,
Yeah, they're like it's like a CIA guy. He's just morally ambiguous enough that he can like do the wrong thing for the right reason, and it'll play out in the end.
Mhm.
That's a good. Thematically, I see where we're going.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. So Leo is another part of the up there.
Yeah. So the afterlife is a separate sect of the up there. So we have the regular region, and then it has an attachment to the afterlife gates, and there's the staircase and other building.
Okay, so like the elders are like a couple floors above where all the just regular good people hang out when they die.
Yeah,
There's still a hierarchy.
I would say the afterlife. I think the afterlife is a little above them. So the elders, and then the afterlife is above them somewhere else.
Okay, because the elders still interact.
Yes.
Between worlds.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, gotcha.
And just think about how, like, when Patty came down for Pepper's wedding, she's like, the elders sent me down just for your wedding day, so they have that some kind of something there. That's
true. That's like the gate between.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this helps the readers who also maybe missed an episode or two and don't exactly know everything that's going on. Sorry.
So they're in the afterlife gates. They're about to open them to go into the upper region part where the elders are, where Neena is, where all the battle is happening. So they're about to enter that part of it. And Paige is just like, I just need enough time to get to my body so that I can come back to life again. And Kyle says, once you're back in your body, you and your sisters can't come through these gates anymore because these are the dead people gates. So if you get in trouble, just orb away and run away and don't get killed again.
I like this little moment between them.
And then we hear boom, and then they're just like, was that an explosion? Grams is like, that wasn't the signal. Is everyone in place? I don't know. We don't know.
I think that voice you just did is appropriate for this picture of Grams because she looks rough.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say something too, Sean. Jennifer Rose is so much more beautiful than this picture has done her.
Very mannish. Very mannish. She's very. It's very B. Arthur.
I don't know. This is like Graham's like drag queen wannabe.
Yeah. So Paige is like, I don't think we can wait. Open the gates and seize the day. And Grams is like, as you say, dear, and she uses her telekinesis and opens the gates. And then Melinda is first, and she's like, I'm going, you guys. Ooh.
So we see this very beautiful picture of Melinda making this sound, Fazak! And she's like throwing down this big red demon, just like that, like this big red Leah Michelle, like bitch go down. Bam, bitch go down.
And she's got her sultry little figure. She looks really good in the picture. Like she's very powerful, very feminine, but very powerful.
This is the first time we've seen Melinda demonstrate telekinesis because she didn't show us this when she appeared in season 1.
Oh,
that's true.
So,
and
very
do you
neat.
think that she would have her powers? I mean, I guess she's already up in the world because does she not have them because Prue had them?
Well, you know what? I was thinking about this too. Actually, apparently, after you die, ghosts retain their powers.
Oh.
Because do you remember when every time Grams came back and she was using her powers up in the attic and stuff too, even though she was dead?
Totally. And that one ghost that was like terrorizing his grandson Matthew or whatever, he had
electrokinesis and
instead of being just a ghost who like developed it over time because he was like horrible.
I feel smart by charmed association here. Like I'm part of the conversation.
Same. That's why I hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
So we have Melinda in her white dress, which I love that she's in the white dress too, because it's just so like, I'm immaculate, I'm so good, I'm a force of awesome, and I'm taking down this ugly thing. And we get a page saying "Onward, Warren Witches" and other inspirational charge type things. And this thing that kind of looks like Kyle says, "Really, Paige?" And she says, "What? Like, you always know the perfect thing to say. Avengers assemble." And then
I love that scene. It's so cute.
Yeah. And then we see Shania Twain is with the other witches yelling, "Let's go, girls!" And they lead the charge into battle. And we get lots of fun sounds. Rar and herg and grar.
Rar, herg, grar.
So they're charging down these stairs at these demon-y guys with their big horns and their big muscles. And Paige like launches herself at one and she's like, "Clear a path!" And she throws her orbs. And then Kyle is all like Yoda styles lightning zapping this other guy who looks very creepy, but he kind of looks like the Swamp Thing from Scooby-Doo. And he's like, "Paige, don't worry about the fight. Go get your sisters. We've got this. Because I'll always throw myself into the fray for you because I secretly love you and want you and should end up with you." And Henry sucks. And then, oh, whoops, was that out loud? Sorry, sidetrack. And then she's like, "On my way." And who is this behind her? Is this random?
It's just a random ancestor, yeah.
Random ancestor with a nice necklace and a long dress and, some hair.
Firepower.
Oh, she's a fire lady. Maybe she's okay. This is what I want to know. Could it be Phoebe's past life, Fire Phoebe? Because like, what happens? Is she reborn and so she doesn't exist anymore as that person? Because
it is reincarnated.
Because if she's reincarnated, then she's gone.
Does a soul exist? Right.
It's like the Fire Phoebe was like, "Okay, I got fleshed down into this body, and now I'm doing this thing for a little while."
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be cool if
it was, yeah,
if it was like Fire Phoebe? But anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, and then we do have Phoebe popping in, or no, she's somewhere else fighting, and she's like doing a little levitating sidekick, not the best form, but nice boob shot. And it's like, I hope Paige isn't still waiting for the signal as she like kicks some guy in the jaw who's like, "Oh," and then this must be Piper in a hot pink number, which Piper's not for pink. I just don't see her in this outfit, but I see her in the style, and maybe she's like, after my daughter was born, I started wearing pink, and I never wore pink before that. So let's just say that it was after she had who's her third one?
Melinda?
Melinda. After she had little Melinda, she was like embracing the pink and the fuchsia. And she's like, I think we've given her enough signals in classic, Charmed One's quippiness mid-battle.
All right. So now Neena joins the scene, and she's like, "Oh, you Charmed girls are not gonna get in my way." She's like, you have to understand, I don't want to do this. I don't want to hurt you, but she zacks them, and
she like slaps Piper's face off.
I know, like, what is this? She's like a one-eyed one-horned fly from a people eater, falling down. And Phoebe is, doing her
tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll, yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
pose, and they're like, well, who's forcing you to hurt us? You don't have to hurt us. We can work this out, We know about your lost love. We know you're not that bad of a lady, so you don't have to do this. And she's like, "This is so much more about my love. This is about setting things right." And she's like, "If I have to take you out to do it, then I can deal with that, because I don't know. It's weird because usually she's all about like, I don't hurt my fellow witches. I don't hurt good. But if this will be the greater good," she's pulling a Gideon over here.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Totally.
And she's got her little demon.
The logic starts to get faulty.
The logic, yeah. But she's got her little demon insane clown posse over here. And
backup band.
Yeah. Like, and then like, "Paige, we could really use your help right now." And then all of a sudden, through the doors comes Leo, angel of mine. And he's like, "Well, I do." And he's got the sword. He's got angel wings. What is happening?
He's glowing a little bit.
Glowing.
Would you say he's a seraph?
Yes, a seraph. Maybe. There's a theme going on here. And this is our power play for the day.
Woo!
Power play.
So today's power play is angelic wings. And this is the power to possess the wings of an angelic entity. The users possess the ability to manifest or generate pairs of powerful wings on themselves at will as a natural feature of their divine celestial species. And this particular situation with Leo, they don't tell you in this issue, but I'm going to spoil you a little bit. This is caused by the Imperial sword. So the sword is what gives him his wings. And remember, that was a sword that was in the vault I told you to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
And this sword grants him flight, angelic wings on command, flying through the air. Great.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't fly without the sword, and you can't use the sword without the wings. They kind of go hand in hand. If you try to use one of them, they kind of gives you pain.
So, like, say the sword was like leaning up in some cupboard somewhere, and he picked it up and
Pretty
was like,
much.
"Sweet, I got wings now!" Like Lucifer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that for him.
He's got angelic power. It makes him able to slash through demons and vanquish them several at a time with ease. He just burst into flames because he's got the angelic power. He can also drain life force, which is something I know. Apparently,
Not a very angelic trait.
It's not a very angelic trait. Apparently, the sword was designed to be used by white lighters, by the elders, to do this. It fed on their endless amount of magic of other species and other evil things. Like,
so they're like Old Testament.
Yeah, I mean, this just furthers, and this just furthers my case for why the elders are really just the greatest evil of all time.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, and they can call the weapon to it. You can be like, sword,
Like,
come to me, sword.
And I would imagine you had to be worthy to like pick up the sword and have the,
sure,
have it work for you. Like, and like if one of those demons walked in and picked up the sword, they probably wouldn't start flying around.
Right.
Right.
But
so we're saying Leo is Thor with the sword. He's got a sword.
He's
got a sword.
I wonder if he has a little, Viking in him somewhere.
So I have a concern, and I think this will give us an excuse to lay into the artist.
Great.
If we all can please turn our eyes to Phoebe in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm pretty sure the artist drew a nipple on her. I love how you both put it up to your face at the same time.
I see it. There's a little nip slip happening here.
Yeah.
Come on now. She's not that perky. How many kids has she popped out by now? Real. Ladies don't hold up like that. Especially if she's not even wearing a bra, unless she's got a strapless bra on. But
she never wears bras. They never wear bras on Charmed, really.
That's true.
Yeah, it was kind of the era of.
How many episodes was just like nipples poking through the shirts? I mean, really.
That's why we all watched Friends, right?
Yeah.
I've got an eye for boobies. So on the next page, we see Leo flying into action, and Piper goes, "Is that my husband? Please tell me that's not my husband." And Phoebe's like, "I don't know. It kind of looks like your husband, but I don't know if you noticed. He has wings."
They were always commenting on his like nice tush in the show,
right.
So they should have made him a little more plump.
That's true.
Yeah. That's not America's ass.
Yeah. That's why Piper didn't recognize him. She's like, it must be the pants, because that does not look like my husband.
So Neena's saying, they've already put you through enough. Like, your family has suffered. Just let me do this so I can set things right and let you choose your own destinies. And Paige is like, thanks, but we're doing fine without you. Like, we don't need you. And then she orbs Neena away, and Piper says, where did you send her? And beat up looking Paige says, just far enough to put me back in my body. Just enough time to get me in there so I can help more.
They both look like they've been punched in the nose.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just in a battle, so.
Right. Did you catch this, though? Paige orbed Neena without vocal command.
Oh, she
Ooh.
did.
She
Her
pulls up
powers are growing.
hands.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't she do that
She
earlier
should.
though? Because when she goes flying down the stairs, she
Well, she said clear a path, though.
Oh yeah, clear a path.
So that was her vocal command there.
I
Just
suppose.
yeah. But this time she didn't say anything.
All right, so Phoebe yells on Coop, and we turn the page, and Coop comes running, and he's got his bow, and he's like, "Coming, dear." And then we got Henry, who's carrying Paige's body, who also somehow got punched in the face. And then there's a wild swing happening. Is that her dad behind her? Is that?
Yeah, that's Sam. Yep, you got it.
He's knocking out some guy in a robe, and they're running through flames to get to their sisters. And Henry runs up to Paige's body, or holding Paige's body, runs up to her ghost, and he's like, "Paige, I'm so glad you're safe." And she's like, "Well, am I?" And then she criticizes her outfit. I love this. She's like, "Wow, that outfit does nothing for me." And she's like, "All right, just put me down. I got to get back in there and change out of this thing."
And I'm pretty sure this is the same fuzzy Muppet sweater she was wearing, except it's not fuzzy anymore. Like, where did the fuzz go?
Is this the one that shrunk and she like used magic to fix it?
Probably. It does look a lot like it.
Well, why? It's cursed. She should not be wearing it anymore. It was for personal gain. Like, she caused all her falls. She caused all of this. No, I'm just kidding. That's what the elders would have you believe. And so now we have the sisters gather around Paige's body, holding hands in the form of a triquetra.
Oh, rhyme time moment. Are you going to read the spell to us?
Yes, please. Rhyme time.
Should we try a spell? Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue.
Wonderful. Witty, but wordy. I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
The sisters split into body and soul. What was asunder must be remade whole. Let her body and spirit reunite so the power of three can join the fight. And then she gets sucked back into her body. She wakes up. Her and Henry start going at it on the ground. And everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so happy I can
watching glare.
touch your hands and you're mine." And he's like, "Oh, baby, I love you body and soul. I love you, Paige. I love you too." And then the rest of the reunion we'll save for later.
Ooh.
And he's like, "Can't she join in the fun?" And then they just leave. They just orb out of there. They go do it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not. Anyway. Next page. They're still there.
Yeah. Let's take this Neena down. And Neena's like, "Easier said than done, foolish mortal witches, whatever you are."
I mean, he is the only mortal there. He doesn't even have his gun. He shouldn't be there.
Right. I guess Leo's not immortal anymore because he has wings now. So
right.
I guess that changed.
Well, and then the grandpas are there too. Do they have powers? I mean, one of them's a white lighter, right? The other one's real. So
yeah.
But I like that they're looking out for each other. They kind of look similar in that picture. They're like, they kind of look like the army buddies.
One is Coop and one is Sam.
Oh, one's Coop and one's Sam. Okay,
yeah.
They're not even related. So
no, but yeah, Coop was doing something with his arrows. You don't see him really shooting anybody, but apparently he was shooting with his little love arrows. So. But then Piper goes, "Leo!" And he's like, "On it! I'm flying through with my sword, slashing these demons. They're dust. They like turn into flame garbage. I don't know."
Yeah, are they flame demons or is he setting them on fire?
So yeah, pretty much when he slashes through them, they like get incinerated. They turn to dust.
That's gonna be rough in the bedroom. I mean, I'm just saying. How do they do all these magical powers?
I know. Watch your Thord.
Watch my Thord. Don't call your Thord, baby.
So then the bottom panel has Leo floating through the air and the bevy of ancestors coming from the other side of the path. And Pepper's like, "Give it up, Neena. You're surrounded. Half your demons are vanquished, and the others are on the run." And then she's like, "How dare you? If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be alive. You wouldn't exist. You'd be cottons." Yes. Yeah. And then Rennick's just sitting there like a weirdo.
And Rennick
Like-
wakes up finally, having
He's
missed
like, "Oh, I'm chained up. Oh, okay.
everything.
Reminds me of
He looks
college.
confused. He's like, what's going on here?
So this next page is a lot of exposition from Neena. So I'm just going to read it straight out
Sure.
because it's important. So she says, "Melinda Warren, you are an aberration, a powerful witch born to 2 humans with no innate magic. Who would give birth to a line culminating in the most powerful trio of witches the world would ever know?"
She looks really sad, like she's getting pointed at, and Melinda looks like she's gonna cry, like she's being like, "You're an aberration," and she's just
right. It's like, I am an aberration.
You wretched heifer.
He's like, "When I passed on these great boobs,
Yeah.
all are like super busty and cleavagey." Okay, sorry, honey, go on.
And it looks like Grams is just thinking, God, I wish I combed my hair today. So Neena keeps going, "But none of you ever lived your own lives. You are all slaves to the elders and the prophecy that was writ the moment Melinda was conceived. The angels tried to intervene in Melinda's life. The elders are now messing with your children's lives. I know what they tried. Piper, but it ends here. No more prophecies. No more destiny." And then Piper says, "Do you think any of that justifies your actions? You brought back the source, didn't you? Dozens of innocents died for your plan. You sent me away from my family, and you nearly killed Paige." And then Rennick starts talking. He starts teaming up against her. "Don't forget the white lighters I murdered. That was her idea too." Don't need any help, Rennick. Don't need any help. Thanks.
He's like solely comic relief in this episode.
Yeah. And then Neena starts talking more, but then Phoebe, I had to go through all the P names in my mind. I was like, Paige, no. Phoebe comes up behind her and starts feeling her emotions. And Piper says, "Hold on, Phoebe. Use them against her. It's the only way."
So Phoebe does the thing like in that episode where she goes to the future on the baseball player
It's very
guy.
much, yeah. She's doing her, projecting the emotions back at her, kind of thing. And
Totally. And she's right behind her. Her hands are around her head, and she's glowing. And then they burst apart, and they're both grabbing their heads, like, "Ow, that hurt." And she's like, "I can't. It's too much." And then Paige runs over to help Phoebe up, very sisterly, and she's like, "Oh, I felt anger, rage, but also compassion. She really thinks she's doing what's best." And Paige is like, "Well, she be wrong." And Phoebe's like, "Yeah, but I don't think I can use those emotions against her." And then Piper, who now has the mumps, says, "Then we go to plan B." And she dumps a little bluey potion on. I can't get over this outfit. Like, Piper would not wear it. Sorry. I mean, it looks good, but seriously. Okay. So now they dump a potion on her, and she's still knocked out, and they hold hands around her, again, very much like the Triquetra, and it looks like it's another rhyme time.
Should we try a spell? Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue. Wonderful. Witty, but wordy. I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
oh, yeah,
Do I get them both? Is that okay?
you do. Do it.
Wow.
It's a special. Okay. Rhyme time. Earthly goddess twisted by loss, we bind your magic, we bind your strength, we bind your power, bitch, now and forever. Sorry, I just needed it. Just had to.
Had a good ring to it.
It just
Yeah.
needed it. It just. I'm sure that's what they really said, and they edited it out. I mean, this is a family show. It's not working, and she's like, "Puny witches, you really think you're strong enough to find my powers? I am the source of all human magic." And they're like, "How about a little help, dears?" Who says that?
It's probably Grams.
Grams. Yeah, Grams. And then they call on the witches,
Yeah.
the Warren witches.
So the next panel has like all the witches, and they're like yelling that spell with lots of bitches in it, I'm sure. It's like, now and forever! And she's like, no, Nina, no! Oh. And she's like, Nina's just like, has her claw. She's like, you've bound my powers, contained my magic! She's like so sad. And then Piper looks at the embryonic ball and she's like, now let's take care of that thing. What is it? And then Leo pops up with his wings. He's like, that's the sphere of light and dark. The spell she used to unite them was in Latin. Do you know Latin? We need a counter spell to break them apart. And she's like, well, Piper's like, no one knows Latin. Prue knows Latin. Where is Prue? She's an ancestor. Why isn't she up here? I don't know.
I'm just stuck on why does Leo sound like the Tootsie Pop owl?
A 1, a 2, a 3.
It came with the wings, man.
Yeah.
Notice that he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, how do I land this thing? He just kind of swoops down. What's going on, guys?
So on the next page, we are greeted with a big purple butt. A big purple butt is floating in the air.
So terrible.
Because all of a sudden they know the spell now out of nowhere.
Yeah,
that was random.
Ooh, rhyme time moment, Sean.
Should we try a spell?
Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue.
Wonderful. Witty, but wordy. I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
Yay, I get this one.
Yeah.
Yay. Skindo singulus secco. Skindo singulus secco. Skindo singulus secco.
It's starting to work.
Yeah. And then Piper says, but not enough. And then Kyle says, let's see if we can help. And then they all lift up their shirts and they do the Care Bear stare into the big butt.
They're like, let's mansplain this to the most powerful witches of all time.
Yeah.
So now everybody's yelling, Skindo singulus secco. And then Leo comes in with his sword and he cuts it in half. He does the final cleave. Shrek.
You know, mitosis going on here.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, so now everything looks a little bit better. It's light again. There's clouds, and all of the demons seem to have disappeared. And they're all standing up like, oh, everybody okay? And Paige is like, man, I've been better. I've been worse. But looks like the bad guys are gone. And they're like, oh, they just went back to the underworld. So that was convenient. Just love it when they clean up after themselves. And they're like, Grams, you all right? And she's like, girls, I'm already dead. And then she's looking a little better, but a little haggard still. And I don't know. Who is that? Oh, that's Piper. Okay. Piper's still in her raunchy outfit, and she's talking to her. Is that her mom? Okay.
Yeah, it's Patty there, too.
So it looks like it's Piper, Grams, and Patty. Okay, so I'm just going to read this because this is important. And
yes.
Piper's like, okay, now that the fight is over, care to tell me why Prue couldn't be bothered to join us? She's pissed. Where is that bitch? Sorry. And then Grams is like, oh, you know, your sister. She's always up to something. And like, she just had other things to do. Okay. And
like every excuse in the book. Thanks for just like running us through the ringer every time. I don't know.
I'm just gonna gaslight you a little bit.
Yeah.
And then her mom's like, Mom, it's time the girls knew the truth. And so she says, we've been misleading you for a while now about Prue. As you know, she took her death pretty hard. And Piper's like, she wasn't the only one. The girls are looking a little confused and upset. And she says, true. The mom, Penny, continues, true, but not everyone copes with it in her own way. I'm sorry, Patty.
Yeah, you got
I
it.
keep mixing them up.
Patty.
Patty.
Yeah.
All the ski names. Not everyone copes with death in the same way. And then she says, as a charmed one. She had yet to fulfill her potential when the prophecy transferred to Paige. Prue's spirit may have moved on, but she was still partially bound to the earth, bound to her unfinished business, and it was tearing her apart. So she came to an agreement with the former elders to move on to her next life. And then Grams jumps in, Prue has been reborn. Dun, dun,
Gasps.
I know.
What do you think about that idea? Because Prue has already been reborn once. Well, her past life was born into Prue. So this is the soul. That'll be a second reincarnation then, if that was true.
Well, that would be fine, but she'd be like a little baby, toddling around somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, she'd be what, like 8 or 9 now if she reincarnated right away.
Right.
But I do like this as an explanation as to like why Prue's never come back or anything. It makes sense.
Why we've never seen her.
Mm-hmm.
If only.
If only.
If only.
So continuing the conversation, Piper's like, reborn? What? It's like, why would you tell us that she was still with you then? Why would you telling us that she has work to do? She's, we're helping her through this. What is this? All this? She's like, we didn't want you looking for her all the time, which I guess is smart because, they do need to grieve her. They can't be trying to keep her alive all the time, but still. Oh yeah. And they said, we don't want her, want you looking for her in your own children. Like, people's like, ew. So my sister's my daughter, my little ladybug? Ew.
Well, yeah, and then clearly Phoebe already thought that,
Yeah,
like she already had jumped to that conclusion, and that's why she named her Prudence.
Right.
Shauna, which is like creepy.
Yeah.
I just got a vision of Phoebe holding her kid's face going, oh, there you are, Prue.
And then Grams is just like, no, don't worry. Prue was gone before your daughters were born. It's all fine. She's like, it all happened very quickly. Before even we could say goodbye to her, she just left us.
We didn't even get to say goodbye. It's like, wait a second.
Like, something's not adding up here. And Piper is rightfully kind of pissed. She's like, we came to the afterlife after all this time, and my sister isn't even here to meet us? Like, what bullshit?
Yeah. I saved the world again. I'm up here again.
Yeah.
I probably won't remember half of it again, and I can't even see my sister.
Yeah.
And you guys have been lying to me for years. Like, that's what she's really
Yes.
mad about. But she doesn't
like
slap her mom and grandma too. So
yeah, she's like, this is some family you are. But they're like, maybe someday in the future you can see her. Maybe you'll recognize her soul. Oh, like that's what's comforting.
Isn't that what you were just trying to prevent us from doing?
Right.
Like, okay.
Prue has moved on to her next destiny. And then Paige is like, speaking of destiny, we have 3 angels of destiny appear.
One of them's Paula Abdul.
Yeah. And then Graham's face starts to melt.
It's Piper's new power. She's melting Graham's face right now. She's like, you bitch.
Well, you notice these are all the angels of destiny we have seen in the series so far, and the comic book.
Oh, you're right.
The next page, as we see the back of Paige, and she's talking to the elders, and she's like, we could have used you guys a while ago. And the angel of destiny says, Paige, it's not really our place to interfere. And they're like, yeah, right. And so Phoebe's like, good and evil merge together. The world is caught in the middle, and it isn't time to interfere. And Paula Abdul says, but that's the point Neena was trying to make. And we just didn't want to prove her right. And then Neena, who's kind of dressed like, I don't know, a superhero. She's kind of got like, doesn't she look like the guy with the magic fingers who does the math and Doctor Strange? She kind of looks like Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I got there. I got there eventually.
I got caught up on magic fingers. It's so hard.
Because he's always like, so she's talking to one of the elders, and she's like,
the angel of destiny.
The angel of destiny. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks. Keep me on track. So an angel of destiny, and he's like, you were right. We've really interfered for too long. We really should have trusted humans, and so we're gonna let them live their lives in peace. Like we've decided it's our idea. We're gonna allow you to grow and let your children grow up without the threat of a prophecy. We've decided they're not gonna have to fear the cleaners, and we've decided we won't let the elders manipulate them either. So we've absolved your children of any potential calling. They'll grow up, so they're just going to be normal, boring people, and they'll just grow up and use their magic for good without the constant threat to their lives. So who's telling the underworld about this? Who's letting the underworld know about this?
Right.
And then the other angel of destiny says, one day, if the power of 3 does transfer to them, to any of your children, it will happen naturally, not because of external forces interceded. We promise, hands off.
You know what else this does, though? It takes away Excalibur from Wyatt.
Oh no.
What? You can't just take away Excalibur?
Yeah, he's
Where
no
did
longer
it-
destined for Excalibur either.
Is it
He's no
still
longer.
in the attic?
He's no
room?
longer the. Yeah, I mean, they probably still have it, but
Yeah.
he won't. He's not the one that will be chosen to use it anymore. He's no longer that twice blessed thing they talk. It's so. I don't really like this idea either.
It's like killing Han Solo. Why?
It's like you went way too far the other way.
Yeah, don't destroy the original story that we fell for in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. I don't want you messing with my life, and you did mess too much, but the stuff that actually happened so far, I consider that natural.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You just ruined my life even more, stupid. Stupid things.
Yeah, it's like, wait a second. So I've been telling my kids that they have this destiny, and now I'm like, sorry, you're just like everybody else. It's like those weird parents who try to convince their children that like Harry Potter is real, and then like let them grow up believing that it's all real, and then they turn left and they're like, haha, we were just trying to let you believe in magic, and they're like, my worldview is fucked. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Right.
there's
Good
ramifications of taking away a kid's sword, a magic sword.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of ramifications, there's also ramifications, Kat, for you reading my page. Now I'm going to read your page.
I'm such a bitch. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay because I looked at that page and I was like, that's a lot of reading. I don't want to do that page. So this worked out better for me.
What? I was just so excited when we saw Paige's ass. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Have you seen her in this outfit? Do you like it?
I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for her body.
You're like me in like the first 3 comics. The artist kept drawing the sisters in fucking sandals. And I was like, why does everybody wear these fucking sandals? They don't wear sandals. I would not let it go.
Fetish artist. I remember the panels get pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the next page, which is mine, naturally, it was the natural thing that happened. We have Neena going, cool, guys. Thank you, Angel of Destiny. Everything, like, this was a really good party. I'm just going to, like, I'm going to go to the higher realm now because, like, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go there.
Yeah, my
And
bad.
Paula Abdul says, bitch, no, you got to be punished. You just did, like, a bunch of stuff. So, like, poof, bitch. Poof.
Zap.
And then Piper's like, you destroyed her. And Paula Abdul's like, no, girl, I just sent her to her own little world that she concocted. She made it. She can stay there. And just as a super mean punishment, that guy that she hasn't seen in like forever that she did all this for, she can only see him 6 months every year. That's it. No more than 6 months every year. She's so punished.
Yeah, it's like she basically gets what she wants. She gets her man, but only half a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Persephone, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she has no powers anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Her powers are binded.
You know, they zapped her into that, you know, high collared number she's wearing.
That's the worst part of the punishment. You have to wear this wedding dress from the 70s.
You just spend 6 months out of the year with your love of your life in this chastity belt. You
Yeah.
can't.
He sees her and he's like, you're wearing that?
No, and her world is kind of gloomy. I mean, it's pretty, but it's like purple, and there's like a dead tree with one little flower on it, and like it's barren.
Mhm.
They're like, this is the only compromise we can offer.
And we still don't see who her man is. So I imagine there's a shocker in our future.
Or we just let it go and never find out ever.
What?
Yeah, we move on to completely different things.
Yeah. We never hear about her lover ever again. So
Or
it was
Billy.
unimportant. Sorry.
So in my mind, Sean, we can spin out the rest of that story.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back for season 11, and she'll bust out of her world. They'll plant that seed from that flower that their love grew, and they'll bust out of there and they'll wreak some havoc.
You know who it's gonna be? The guy who says, "You'll never forget my name," but I can't remember his name right now.
Stanley.
Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
It's Stanley.
I love that episode. And then she's like, quick, like hiding the blood from her dad. Like it's like when your parents bust up and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Let's go somewhere. I don't care. Anywhere. So Piper's like, okay, Leo, time to put your little toy away. We don't need the Thord right now. What's this wing? Get your Thord and your wings out of here. And she's like, what is this thing anyway? He's like, I don't know. I don't even know what this thing is that I grabbed, but I grabbed it. He's like, but it's a part of me now. And she's like, what? He's like, hold on. I think I can do this. Hold on. Let me, I want to make him disappear.
Why is she making that noise?
And then there's like, oh yeah, I did it. My wings are gone. They're inside me somewhere. That worked. I can still feel its power though. So
that's what I'm saying. They got to be careful. You don't want to unleash that in the wrong moment.
Right. So the sword and the wings have just been consumed into his body somewhere or something like that. Weird.
Yeah, they took half his haircut with him.
So I was like, well, I could bring it back if I want to. I think that might be useful later. Ha 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 ha. And then Grams and Patty are like, we should go back too. We've been out far too long. And then Kyle's like, I have to go too. This will probably be the last that you'll see of me. And then Paige is like, not to be rude, but I kind of hope it is.
She's like, this is awkward. My husband's right there.
She's like, I cried so many times over you. I'm over it. You need to be gone.
And I broke your snow globe.
So that cracks me up. Bye, Kyle. Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Everybody's waving. Like, bye, ghosties. Don't be a stranger now.
The last page, we see everybody leaving to go home, and Penny and Patty are left behind. And Penny's kind of like, that was fun. It shook things up a little bit. And then a strange man behind the large pillar says, you shouldn't have lied to the girls like that. And Patty says, Cole, you're one to talk about lying. How'd you get here? So Cole said he got here by magic, naturally. And he says, I held up your end of the my end of the bargain. Piper, trust me now. And Penny says, you really didn't earn her trust. She was forced to believe you. If you want your full redemption, you still have to help us a little bit more. And he says, tell me what I have to do. And Patty says, find my daughter, Cole. Find Prue.
You don't gasp at that. You are just not a gasper.
I know. I'm just like, yes. So, but so
I love that they bring back Cole. Yes, please. Let's have a little more Cole action.
And I love this too because Cole was working for Patty and Grams too.
Mm-hmm. That's so cute.
Okay, I hate to be that guy, but you know how sometimes when you're like masturbating and you have trouble coming and you finally come and it like doesn't feel that great? That's what this was. I was edging for so long to find out what is going on with Cole, and he's just working for Patty and Penny this whole time.
That's a little weak. Yeah, you make
a bad orgasm.
Yeah.
And why would Penny and Patty have the power to be his redemption?
Yeah, they shouldn't have anything to do with any of this, but
no, really none at all. Because where did we last leave Cole? He was still like kind of stuck between worlds. Like we last saw him talking to Drake, right?
In the series, yeah. But he was in that purple realm that Neena went to with Piper for like 3 issues before this.
Oh, was that with like the apple tree?
Yeah, the apple.
Okay, yeah. I read those a long time ago. I don't quite remember.
Yeah,
I should have caught up before now. But yeah, that is strange.
Although Sean knew right before we even started the comics that Prue comes back, so this is kind of like that little motion. I wonder if you're wondering when she would come.
I was wondering if it was even like a thought yet in I forgot his name right now, the writer.
Paul
Ruditis. I wondered if it was part of his plan yet. So this answers that for me, that there was a plan all along. And I do like this explanation of Patty and Penny have no idea where she is this whole time, so that's why they're just gaslighting all along.
That is so on brand for Grandma.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's like, I'm not going to admit my defeat.
And maybe they're just playing Cole a little bit too. Like, oh, if you really want to earn your redemption, now you got to go find our daughter. Because they're clearly giving him other tasks. And he's like that ex-boyfriend who just won't let it go. And he's just like still being like, what can I do? And I'll talk to your family. And I'll like, maybe I'll tell mom. I'll run some errands for her to try to ingratiate myself back into the fold. And it's like, she's married. She's got kids. I'm sorry. It's over. Like, it's over, buddy. Like, move on. And he just can't.
So, I'll just start with Kat. What's your overall thought of the issue?
Me first. Okay. Well, taking out some of the like plot concerns, the issue itself is entertaining. And so I definitely enjoyed it in terms of like, there's a battle, it felt very episodic, there's stuff happening that I could see happening on the show, their little quippy remarks. I would have to agree that it's a little bit anticlimactic where it's just kind of like, and now all of a sudden we slice this ball in half. We bound your magic. It felt a little like easy. We just bound your magic and she's over. And like calling on the witches, Warren Witch's line is like classic, but also played. You're kind of like, wouldn't they be prepared for this by now? And if she really is the source of all human magic, how would even other human magic still be enough to? And I guess they did bring in the elders and, their Care Bear stare, but it just felt a little easy. And I don't know. An ambiguous villain, I guess, is okay, but I like when our villains are bad. I like when they're bad for a reason and we know why they're bad. And I feel like this is still it's just kind of a played out trope of like, oh, a woman scorned, watch out for a woman scorned. She's going to go crazy. And it's just like, really, come on. Like, we've got better things to do than cry over every little guy that didn't, or girl, and I mean, literally a white savior moment with our Leo swooping in with his wings and glowing sword to cut the fart bomb in half, and then it's over, and then all the bad guys just poof are gone, and it's like, oh, it was just a little too easy, So at the same time, I love all the little classic. I always love an episode that brings back the other family members because you get to see the little quips and the dynamics, and I enjoyed the Kyle and Paige, and even Paige being like, yeah, whatever, dude, see ya. It was funny. So there are definitely things I liked about it, and I did like the ending for Neena, since she was kind of that ambiguous character, but it was like she still really did a whole bunch of bad stuff and killed a bunch of bad people. So it's like, does she really deserve any compromise or redemption? And I guess that's a decision for decision makers that aren't me. But.
Yeah. Sean?
So for me, have you ever like been masturbating and it's taking a while to come? I really liked the first half of this. I think I have a lot of similar complaints to Kat Sicard. I think the thing that really stood out to me is Leo's story, because I think Leo's hard since he's like a blank template. The writers obviously like don't know what to do with him periodically. So like him becoming this angelic being is really interesting to me, and especially from the fact that we've seen him be all these different things already. Like we're seeing all the sides of charm through his eyes. But like, I don't know, Neena seemed too evil in the beginning to have such like a lighthearted end. Like they're just like, we'll just bind your magic and send you to the place that you made. Like,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree. It all seems anticlimactic.
A little Scarlet Witch, kind of.
I think we're 3 for 3. I was quite ambivalent about this issue because there's lots of things I liked. I love the Warren line joining the fight, including Melinda Warren, because that was great seeing her in action. And I can agree with a lot of Neena's justifications, because I too hate the elders, and I hate that they mess with everything and think they're the god's gift to the witches or whatever. And I kind of even enjoy Leo's wings because it's a new change, a new thing. But yeah, the final showdown was definitely anticlimactic. It was over far too quickly and kind of boring. A lot
of exposition, like you said. We're like, we're just going to explain it now.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fighting leading up to it. Like all the stuff before the confrontation was great, but the end was just like meh. And I didn't really have a sentimental reaction to anything either. And usually with these comics, I like to have something that I can like relate to on an emotional level, and I didn't have anything like that either. I did like the hook at the end with Prue because I'm like, ooh, it's coming, and that's intriguing to me. But yeah, a mix. So next is canonical. Put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
Do you have anything that stands out to you as like an error? Or I know Kat has that purple outfit, Piper's purple outfit.
Yeah, I really hate that purple outfit. I just don't think. I mean, like I said, I could maybe see it after having her daughter. She went more on the feminine side.
Yeah.
And Paige, really, she should have burned that sweater a long time ago.
I'm glad she called it out, though, because we called that out on the show, how bad it looks.
Yeah. I have one issue in here that I was contemplating, because the issue here insinuates that the prophecy of the Charmed Ones was never destined to be, but was orchestrated by the Elders and Angels of Destiny.
Oh, yeah, that's BS.
So they combined their efforts. It's like the Elders and the Angels of Destiny teamed up and forced powers on Melinda in order to create a powerful force for their good side.
Which then eventually led to her being burned as a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean when you rewrite.
I don't like that.
And the basic premise of the show, which was that they were this natural accumulation, culmination of Warren witch power.
It ruins like the unpredictable and like beautiful enigma of what magic is, and what I want to believe to be true, that you can be chosen.
And it could just be like Melinda was. They could have had it both and, it could have been that sprung up and then they started influencing. And then they could be part of their influence could be why some of them were evil, like Fire Phoebe and stuff. And like they could have explained it in a way that would have been more canonical and true to the fan base. It's like, think about the fans, think about the story you've already told and don't rewrite the story you've already told.
Yeah.
Because then we get mad.
Yeah.
We're like, that's not how it happened. But we'll see, because it's going to go way off the rails in the next season anyway. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
going to got some stuffs.
I like it.
Cool. So next is tips for future White Lighters.
Oh, we're really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future White Lighters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
This is the moral of the story.
I've got one. If you're going to be a villain, do it in America, because the punishment's not going to be that bad. Whether you try to bring, heaven and hell together or not show your taxes to the Supreme Court, you're fine if you're in America.
If you're a rich white American, that especially helps.
That's true.
That especially helps. I don't know. It's kind of you got to lean on your friends, but you can't trust your friends and you can't trust your enemies. It's like even your parents are like lying to you about where your sister is. Like there's no good moral to this one. It's like we were bad to interfere. But we're still interfering. We're not going to interfere anymore. Guess what? We're still lying to you. We're so sorry for lying to you. Boy, you really should have lied to them like that. Shut up, Cole. Go find our daughter, bitch. Like, who are they to be orphaned around he's like some all-powerful entity that it's only his love for Phoebe that's keeping him from being like the source of all evil. And so you'd think they'd be nicer to him, but they're like, we got to keep him in line. We don't want him getting too big for his britches.
My tip is you create your own destiny. Don't rely on outside forces to make things happen. Figure out what you want in your life and take charge.
Kevin, you always have such a good take on it. I love that.
Well, I try,
That's why I don't try anymore. Kevin always bests me.
Right? I know. It's like, I'm just going to try to be funny. And then let Kevin be smart and sweet.
Thank you. Next is, onomatopoeia. What's your favorite sound word?
I think I'm going to have to go with, I really like when Leo goes thump at the beginning when he kicks the Rennick and he's like, thump, because it's just a hot scene. Like, that's a pretty hot picture right there. But also, I like the Fazak. When Melinda zaps the demon.
Yeah.
Those are my onomatopoeia.
Cool.
I think for me, it's a 3-way tie because I really like rar, herg, grar.
Similarly, mine is thuck, thunk, schlock.
Yeah, that was a good one.
With the arrows.
That was really good onomatopoeia for what was happening, you know, because that's how you would hear it in a
Exactly. Most valuable panel.
I do like the one where he is kicking the guy, and I also like the one where Coop is like, "Coming, dear," and he's like running, and it's like the B players are running in, and they're like, "We're here too," and it's cute.
Yeah,
I like them all like doing their spell over page too. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pick just one. What about you, Sean?
I like this one right after Leo has kicked Rennick, and we see Rennick on the ground in the foreground, and Leo's like, chalk one up for the powerless mortal. I just love the idea that like Leo's realizing just because I'm mortal doesn't mean I'm not useless.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my MVP is the last one, the Find My Daughter Cole, Find Prue, because I mean maybe it's just because I'm a slut for Prue.
Yeah.
It gives me an intrigue and a curiosity and like what really happened, and so that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good cliffhanger for sure.
Yeah. Next is sexiest drawing.
I gotta say it's the cover.
Okay.
I think this is the sexiest drawing because it's like they're being straddled by Neena, and Paige is holding that sword like all sexy with her boobs out, and the sisters behind her are just like, yeah.
So, Kevin, you're a slut for Prue. I'm a slut for a guy with wings. I used to tape wings onto some of my action figures. So this image of Leo, like, it's very suggestive because he's thrusting his sword into the big butt and cutting it in half. I'm all about it. He can thrust that sword all he wants.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, that is a hot picture. Not the butt part, but like he's all like
No, the butt part too.
I just mean it looks like it's farting because it's like
okay, not the butt part.
So I feel like they're like Sindo Singulus Secco, and it's like, you know. Oh man, what was that? I mean, those aliens.
You have to ruin this moment.
Like, that's what the shrink is. That's why he's making that face. He's like, oh, that's why there's all these like light clouds.
Yeah,
it's washing away.
Pollution. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so their noses are all like the whole time. They're like, it stinks up here.
So my sexiest is Leo in chains.
Oh,
kicking Rennick. You know, when he starts to break out. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful, so badass, so hot.
That's a sexy panel too.
Cool. Now we have issue ranking. So we have Magically Delicious, Pretty Witchin', A Sorcerer's Apprentice, Disenchanting, or Vanquishable.
I'm going to give it Pretty Witchin' because even though there were things I didn't like about it, I appreciated the action and I giggled a lot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe what's the third one?
Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's like the middle one.
Yeah, it might be a Sorcerer's Apprentice and a half, but I'm gonna because it's a solid. I feel like it was a solid ending with the cliffhanger about Prue, even though it was a little anticlimactic. I don't know. You guys decide, and I'll change my mind.
Okay. So, you know when you're masturbating? So there's this new movie on Disney Plus called Disenchanted. That's how she felt during this comic. I gave it a disenchanting. I mean, Kat is correct. It did start out.
It started strong and then
fairly strong.
Yeah. You're right.
It just didn't get me there. But I am still excited to know about Prue. I'm still excited to know about Leo, which is why I didn't completely like shit all over it like the purple butt did on Leo. But here we are.
Yes. I give it A Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know, because I was completely torn. I liked things, I hated things. So I put it right in the middle, smack down in the middle at good, Sorcerer's Apprentice. And yeah. This is the last issue in Volume 2, which means we have a Grimoire game.
What is this, some kind of game?
Grimoire Games!
Some people think this is entertainment.
And we are quite long right now, but I'll still do this game and we'll see what happens. So I have angel questions and I have destiny questions. I have two categories. So pretty much I'm gonna ask this question and you have to buzz in. So what your buzzword?
It should be our onomatopoeia. Rawr.
Okay. Yeah.
Mine will be Pizak.
Zach. Okay. So when I ask the question, the first person who does their buzzword will get the option to answer first. And then I'm just going to keep a tally of who gets what answer questions, and then we'll see. The first question is, this is what happens to an angel every time a bell rings.
Pizak.
Kat, what's the answer?
An angel gets its wings.
Yes!
Aw.
Okay, cool. So point for you. Who sings, Girl, you're my angel, you're my darling angel.
Just totally close.
When I'm in need,
Oh my God, who is that?
darling. It was very popular in the early
Her.
2000s.
Why can I not?
Yeah,
remember?
Sean.
Is it Casey and JoJo?
No.
Damn it.
But in that same era, in that same vein, you're queen and that's how you should be treated. Though you never get the loving that you needed.
I know the song. I just don't know who sings it.
This is not. I'm so bad at this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no points. I'll tell you. It was Rayvon and Shaggy. Shaggy was big.
Oh.
Oh,
Same person that sing, but you cut me in the counter. Was it me? Cut me kissing on the sofa. Even hit her in the shower. Was it me? Same artist. Shaggy. Yeah.
all right.
2000. Good times. Number 3. A vampire boyfriend and vampire puppet for reasons.
Herg.
Sean.
Angel.
Angel. Yes.
Oh, good one.
Right when you said vampire, she knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
Angel from Buffy. Yes. And number 4. In magical practices, this is a powerful protective herb.
Pizak. Angelica.
Angelica. Yes. There you go.
Ah, we had a
I would've gotten that
category.
wrong.
I know my
Angel-
herbs.
I know. I put that in there for you because I knew you would. Last question in this category. Alyssa Milano played a character named Angel in this Disney sequel.
Oh.
I don't know. The Little Mermaid 2.
Herg.
Sean.
I'm going to guess because I don't know. I'm going to say Return to Neverland.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Damn.
But that was a good guess. It's actually Lady and the Tramp 2 Scam's Adventure. She played a little
Oh.
dog named Angel, very white, fluffy hair.
Oh my God.
It was very cute. Now we're into the Destiny questions. So these are all about Destiny. So keep that in mind.
Still awaits.
Destiny still awaits. So, number 1. This horse is known for galloping towards true love's kiss.
Herg. Is it Destiny?
Destiny from what?
So it's a horse named Destiny that gallops
Towards
love.
true love's kiss. That phrase is very important.
Is it from the Swan Princess?
No. It's Enchanted. Prince
Pizak.
Edward's horse.
It's from Enchanted.
No
I
points.
was gonna guess that.
Number 2. Be on your buzzer because I think some people are going to jump at this one. Okay.
Oh no.
These bootylicious, independent women are waiting for you to say their name.
Destiny's Child. Herg.
Sean, yeah.
Yes, Pizak.
Yeah.
Sean got us.
Number 3. This film features a common tool of a musician's made from the devil's tooth. It's a musical movie about a band.
Herg.
Sean.
Date with Destiny.
Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Oh.
All right, number 4. A 19th century cultural belief that American settlers are meant to expand, spreading democracy and capitalism.
Oh, Pizak.
Cat.
Manifest Destiny.
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, I won't get into it. Manifest Destiny is an excuse to perpetuate racism and imperialism.
Right.
So,
Evil.
Evil.
Number 5. A blind mutant with visions of the future.
Herg.
Sean.
Destiny.
Yes. What's her name?
Irene Adler.
Irene Adler from X-Men, yes. I do have an extra question. True or false? The first names of the actors who played the Angel of Destinies on the show both start with the letter D.
Zach.
Kat.
Prue.
Correct. It is true.
It just seems like, why would you ask if it wasn't?
Yeah. We have Dakin Matthews, who played him in Which Way Now, and then Denise Dowse, who played her in season 8. Ta-da! Now let's add these up and see who won, because I have no idea.
I bet Sean did.
I think Kat Sicard did.
So Kat won by 1 point.
Yes!
Wow.
Congratulations. That was
Thank
amazing.
you. What do I win? What's my prize?
A round of applause.
Thank you.
Cool. So that's the end. I guess, Sean, tell us what's next, and then we'll do our closing.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Kevin. Issue 13 is Piper's Place. And we have this very, what's his name? The artist who does like the very American, Rockwell. We have this very Rockwell-esque picture of Piper like juggling all these household things, including her wedding photo and a baby. And it says, owning a restaurant of her very own has been Piper's dream for years. Now it's finally real. Opening night is a huge success, and she's the talk of the town. But the additional workload, along with the magical turmoil of late, has taken a toll on her family life. A child's misguided spell has disastrous results as Piper learns whether or not she can truly have it all, while she copes with a situation that would leave other moms quaking in their shoes. So I think Melinda does something.
We'll see. We will see. Cool. Well, that's that. Where can people find you, Kat?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram at @Katzicard and occasionally on Facebook to keep the algorithms. But I have been very remiss in my social media presence lately because, girl's busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, find me there and look for my books on Amazon at Katzicard.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
All right, Sean, where can we find you?
Cool. You can find me mostly on Instagram under Sean.Porrette. There you can link to my podcast, Once Upon a Cult. Also, Marvelous Galaxy of Disney. You can find my book, Witch's Brew, which will soon have a companion since I'm like halfway through the next one.
Yay! Yay!
And you can also find me on my other podcast, Kevin, but I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, it's called Solving for X, covering the 90s X-Men animated series. Where Sean is there, and I am there, and we do another show. Amazing. Well, you can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches everywhere except for Twitter, where that's Words of Witches. You can follow my personal page at KGZ87. And keep on keeping on. We'll see you next time we see you. Your destiny still awaits. Bye!
Bye!
Thanks for listening.
Bye!
Thanks for having us.